On this episode of Hypertech TV, we're talking about Chevy's new 2010 and 2011 3.6-liter V6 Camaro. I'm JD, your performance host. Now, it was rumored there simply was no more power to be had in this high-revving 3.6-liter direct-injected V6 engine. And right out of the box, the stock Camaro does have a great throttle response and pulls hard all the way to 7,000 RPM. Now that's impressive, but a challenge for our team. When our automatic-equipped Camaro hit the dyno, Hypertech engineers found that the spark and fuel curves were optimized for maximum performance at wide-open throttle. They had to look deeper into the entire calibration files to find the keys to more performance and power. Now, it took over a month and 900 full-throttle dyno pulls until they managed to uncover more power over the stock 274 horsepower power plant. With the engine rated from the factory at 312 bhp, which is brake horsepower, that's what the engine sees on the engine dyno, at the wheels, that equates to only a 12% loss. Now that shows you just how efficient these cars really are at putting horsepower to the ground. Now, looking at our dyno graph, you can see what our engineers did during those 900 dyno pulls. A Hypertech tune with premium fuel tacked on an additional 5 horsepower, which put the peak at 279 horsepower to the wheels. Now, above 5,000 RPM, the horsepower gain an average of plus 4 horsepower. Now, look at the torque gain. 10 foot-pounds below 4,000 RPM and a peak of plus 13 foot-pounds of torque at 3,750 RPM. These power gains at wide open throttle carry on over into the part throttle area, which is a great benefit because, unfortunately, we spend more time daily driving than we do at the track. The added torque during normal driving gives an even better throttle response, and the engine runs more efficiently. Accelerating at normal speeds takes just a bit less throttle, and less throttle can lead to improved fuel economy. That's important, and it often tips the buying decision from a V8 to a V6. And with the price of fuel continuously on the rise, improving fuel economy is a concern for us with any engine we tune. And a lot of people opt for regular fuel. As you can see from the dyno graph, we made good improvements over stock using regular fuel. So if you opt for regular fuel, you'll still benefit with Hypertech tuning. Tuning of this Camaro in stock form wasn't going to be enough for this hot rod V6. So just as we did with the Camaro V8, we contacted several aftermarket companies and ordered some of the most popular mods that enthusiasts like to bolt on, like cold air intakes and catback exhaust systems, to develop tuning and optimize the performance with these parts installed as well. Some of the cold air intake kits cause minor changes to the mass airflow sensor, but others cause major changes to the sensor reading. Regardless, any change in the MAF readings requires our specific tuning changes to the calibration, and the Max Energy Power Programmer provides options for these aftermarket systems. Testing of the catback systems was done to ensure that a dramatic change to the exhaust flow would not cause changes to the engine efficiency that would not be detectable by the engine's controller. Bottom line results is that Hypertech tuning is the perfect complement for added performance. Both regular and premium fuel tunes were tested thoroughly to ensure that they were optimized. So when you use Hypertech's thoroughly tested and developed tuning with typical bolt-on aftermarket components, it's not necessary to pay for an expensive custom tune unless you're adding significant power adders, such as a supercharger, turbo, or a nitrous system. Now, the Max Energy Power Programmer for the new 2010 and 2011 V6 Camaro is loaded with features. Now on set today we have John Lambert, Hypertech's tuning manager, to talk about some of them. John, welcome.
Hey, thanks, JD.
Hey, do you mind taking a few minutes and going in depth about each feature that is available with the Max Energy Power Programmer for the V6 Camaro?
Sure, yeah, no problem. Well, actually, the rev limiter is a good one that pairs up with aftermarket parts like cold air intake and exhaust. When you put those parts on your car, it really helps the engine breathe better up top, near red line. So if you want to go in and slightly raise the rev limiter, you can do that with the Max Energy. That lets you take advantage of that extra power you're making up top with those aftermarket parts.
So what is the benefit of raising the rev limiter?
Because those aftermarket parts eliminate some of the restriction that the factory pieces have, it really lets you make more power up near red line. So by raising the rev limiter, you can take advantage of that additional power, and it makes your car faster when you get on it.
Now we know the hot temperatures of summer can cause a reduction in power, especially if you're drag racing, at an SCCA event, road racing, or even the occasional sprint from red light to red light. And that's because the factory cooling settings are set fairly high, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And when you get into settings where you're at a race or something like that, where your vehicle's running pretty low speeds most of the time, you get a lot of heat soak under the hood, and that can really hurt your performance. The Max Energy, you can go in and adjust those fan on-off temperatures and really cool the engine down, and it keeps the underhood temps down so your intake air temps are cool too. That's a big deal when you're out in those kind of settings where you're sitting around a lot.
Now what about higher speeds?
Well, actually at higher speeds, the fans don't provide most of the cooling. Once you get going pretty fast, the outside air is going to blow across way more than what the fans can provide. Now, another benefit though is if you put a cooler thermostat in, you want to lower your fan temps to take full benefit of what you've done to your car.
Now I know another feature that is available with the Max Energy is the ability to adjust the idle RPM. What is the benefit in that?
Well, actually, you can use that several different ways. For some people that maybe sit in traffic a lot, or maybe you have to idle your car for a long time, you could actually benefit by lowering the idle. That way you're not using as much gas when you're in those conditions. If you want to raise the idle, that may be something that's pretty beneficial for somebody that has a manual transmission car, helps you take off from a stop a lot easier, or even cars that have big stereos or something like that. By raising that idle, it actually helps the alternator system charge the battery better. So it's actually a pretty dynamic little feature there that lets you tailor your car to your needs even better.
Now I know up to this point we've focused primarily on engine efficiency, but I know another area that we improved upon is the automatic transmission. So we offer you the ability to adjust wide open throttle shift points for each gear, correct?
Yeah, you can, JD. The 6-speed automatic in this V6 Camaro is pretty efficient, but to take advantage of the bolt-ons, we provide a feature to complement how you've customized your car. We spend as much time tuning the transmission as we did tuning the engine. The stock torque management configuration will actually reduce the engine power output quite a bit during shifting. The result is a smooth shift for a better driving experience, but it sacrifices some performance when you do that. With the Max Energy, you can adjust the shift firmness to get a quicker acceleration by making firmer wide open throttle shifts. This feature allows you to adjust the firmness from 25% to 100% in 25% increments.
Now where do you recommend starting at?
Well, we recommend you start at the lower setting and work your way up to the firmness that feels best. We found that about 50% is about the best option for a daily driver. But at the track, you may want a very firm shift, so to remove most of the torque management, power reduction, and kick it up to 100% for strip-only events.
Also, if you've changed your tire size or rear gear ratio, the Max Energy allows you to input your new tire size or rear gear ratio so that your speedometer or odometer will read correctly.
Yeah, that's right. When the rear end gear ratio is changed, the gear changes the shift points along with the speedometer and odometer readings, so it requires a recalibration to function properly. The Max Energy gear option allows you to simply choose the gear ratio installed, and it'll automatically adjust all the appropriate parameters into the tune.
And as always, all Hypertech power programmers read and clear DTCs, and they're all internet updatable.
JD, Chevrolet did a great job combining classic muscle car lines with new age design and technology, and Hypertech's Max Energy is the perfect complement for added performance.
John, appreciate your time. Thank you.
My pleasure, JD.
Check out our website for more info, dyno charts, and where to buy. Now, Hypertech has been in the tuning business for over 25 years to assure our products provide value, improve performance, and a little fun into the driving experience. The people who know, trust Hypertech.